Hey gang, Ronan here. As you can see in this game, I'm playing the Tier 10 US Destroyer Gearing. Gearing is definitely a favorite of mine. If you've followed my videos at all, you know that I contend that while it may not be the best at anything, it is really good at just about everything. It has long-lasting smokes, it has decent guns, it's got good hard-hitting torpedoes, and while it's not the most maneuverable of destroyers, especially if you're comparing it to something like the Fletcher, it does reasonably well for a big destroyer. I've been playing a lot of two other destroyers here lately, which I'll have videos coming up. One of them, of course, is Trump, which I've already posted a couple videos, but I love playing that thing. 3 different ways to do damage, and if you stagger them, you can be really, really effective with damage over time, especially if you're stacking fires, although you can occasionally get floods and fires. And the Alvaro de Bazan, which is a Spanish destroyer, and Segaby, another ICOP player, told me that that's currently one of his favorites. And I said, well, you know, I haven't really played a lot with that ship. So I've put in, I don't know, 8, 10, a dozen. Anyway, I've played a few games in it, and I'll have a video on that coming up here pretty soon. Now, in this game, the fact that there's a CV, well, that's always potentially bad for a destroyer. But at least in this ship, I do have smoke if I need it. Now you can see I'm trying to use the island to provide cover rather than smoking up. If I had smoked up in a panic there, then the bad guys would have known right where I was. Now, I kind of expect that torpedoes might be coming this way anyway. And especially off to the other side, not the starboard side where you see me kind of throwing torpedoes. But that is where the nearest target is. Now, that's that little pie-shaped wedge that you just saw shift on the mini-map. That tells me where the nearest ship to mine is, the nearest enemy ship to mine is. And that's a commander skill called radio location. It used to be called radio position finding. It's the same thing with a new name. They did that when they did the commander skills rework. Now, some on my team might not have been happy that I didn't just push up into the cap, but especially in the early going, I mean, we're not even 3 minutes in at this point, 2 minutes and 15 seconds. I want to avoid getting blapped, because if I do that, I'm leaving Montana's over here with no DD cover. Now, Napoli, Salem, Republic, they're all headed this way, but they're a couple minutes from being able to do anything. And I'm able to do some screening from here. Now, you see our CV aircraft were coming over the cap, and whatever CV there is there, they panicked and smoked up, and that tells me right where they are. Now, they could have been detected, just held their fire, maybe run, and taken a little bit of damage. But this is probably going to end really badly for them, because where are they going to run? Probably right toward me. Now, I'm going to throw these torpedoes out here in the hopes of catching Genon. You can see my torpedoes on the Yamato. They're not going to connect. And then I'm going to throw another set out here for the destroyer. And why am I doing that? Because if he does run this way, he has to run between those gaps, and it's going to push him even closer to me. He's not going to be able to turn away. Okay, there he is. And I can smoke up now. I've got a Montana behind me that can keep this guy lit up, and torpedoes are going to take him out. And that's it. I can go ahead and move forward. I don't want to sit here in case he threw torpedoes this way. And I'll throw this smoke toward the cap. If I can, I'll try to provide, well, I was going to cross here and provide a little bit of a screen for my Montana, but you see the Malta aircraft, and I changed my mind. Now, I will try to shoot some of these things down since I'm smoked up. He might get me here. We'll see. He's sure going to try. Ooh, close, but no cigar. And he's gone after the Montana. Now, I'm 15 seconds away from having torpedoes back up. And I'm looking at the torpedoes in that smoke over there, wondering if I'm going to catch that Genon. Doesn't look like it. I need to get in the cap. You can see the Napoli's there. Salem is there. And while, yeah, I could have gotten in the cap early, would that have benefited the team? I contend that probably wouldn't have. it would have just made me a target for that enemy CV. And, you know, maybe what happened to their gearing would have happened to me. Now, that doesn't mean I'm not saying never go into the cap if you're in a DV, because sometimes it makes good sense. But when you've got a CV on the enemy team and he's putting his aircraft on the side that you are playing on, sometimes it is better to play a little bit more conservatively. Now, I don't want the Genon to be able to get guns on me, so I'm going to get behind this island and put some rock between me and those guns. And you can see the Des Moines is there as well. So the radar's probably coming any second. I just have to hope that I can avoid shells. I'm going to go ahead and let my AA do some work once the Malta gets over the top here. I'm going to go into the island as close as I can get, and I'll activate my defensive fire on the other side. Now I'll press the O key, and maybe I won't use the defensive fire yet because, okay, there's the radar. And I do land some torpedoes. I finish off the Des Moines. So I take out the Des Moines just as the bad guys take out our Salem. Our Republic takes out the Genon, and it's time for me to push forward. You can see that Yamato, he's at Delta 4. Ohio takes out our Austin torpedoes the Ohio, taking him out. Now I don't want to rush out here too fast because of that, torpedoes. But I think I'm probably okay here now. And I'm just basically going to head straight across here, and I'm going to try and get torpedoes on the Yamato in that gap that you can see. Throw one there for the second Yamato, and see if I can finish this Yamato off. Now, the way they put this map together, it's just not easy to do because I got an island that's kind of dead ahead of me, more or less, and I'm going to be closing on it. I don't want to get so close that I'm detected by that Yamato, so I'm going to have to turn out here and just kind of guess about when to drop him in the water. There we go. Didn't have to guess. Somebody spotted him. So he's got a Montana behind him, and he has an incentive to beat feet. So I just have to see whether my torpedoes do any work for me. I've got them in the water. I've got Annapolis, Republic, Montana, and Prussian this side against Yamato and Yamato. And I know that there's a Shimakaze headed for our CV. So I'm going to get out here and see if I can help with that. Now, if I start firing now, probably not going to be too effective. These guns are very floaty. Okay, that's gonna definitely hurt. So it looked like I landed one on the other Yamato, and I'm able to finish that Yamato. That's kill number 3. And I want to get closer before I open up on that Shimakaze. You know, some people might say, no, you need to get the guns going now, but the Shima is running almost straight away from me, and it takes a long time for these shells to get that far out, especially against a target that's running away. So I'm going to get closer. I'll throw torpedoes back behind me in the hope that maybe I catch somebody trying to get into that cap. Okay, Shima is smoked, but I doubt he's going to stay in that smoke. No, he's moving straight for the Richthofen. So I can head a little bit farther south. Yeah, he risked it all going after Richthofen. Okay, so he's at a range now where my guns can actually be effective. Napoli finishes him off while our Prussian takes out their Yamato. And at this point, things are looking really good for our team. We're down 4 ships. Our Sherman is really banged up, but he's had a good game. And the bad guys are down to Malta, Montana, Kurfürst, Austin, and Daring. Now, Daring is still a serious threat to a gearing. So I want to play cautiously here. The bad guys, they are playing catch-up. So there's really no need for me to rush headlong into that cap. The Napoli can smoke up. Hopefully he won't push too close, because with your detection radius and smoke being what it is, if he pushes all the way into the cap and then smokes and uses his guns at all the red team's going to be able to see him. So I'm smoking for Napoli so that he doesn't have to use his smoke, which might allow him to push even farther in and get torpedoes on somebody. I just have to hope he'll make intelligent use of the smoke. I think I would stop right here if I were him. The fact that I hear him continuing to push forward, I'm not encouraged by that. There's Austin. Maybe I can catch Daring and the Kurfürst and the Montana. We'll see. Now, if Daring has Hydro up, he's going to spot those torps any second. But I don't think the battleship can do anything to stop. Now, Napoli is showing a lot of side here, and he's very close, so I'm really hoping he's not going to fire. His secondaries are going to work, and I'm going to be landing some torpedoes here for sure. All right, 5 torpedoes, and I'll put another set out there. I have to hope Montana doesn't accelerate. There's the Confederate, feeling pretty good about that. And the torpedoes are going for the smoke, as it is often going to be the case, and the Napoli is in big trouble. Napoli torpedoes finish off the Kurfürst. Yeah, my torpedoes are going to run behind the Montana. I think I can fire here, but I'm aircraft spotted. Got to aim a little higher, maybe try and get a fire started. Malta's going to try and drop a few things on my ship here. Yeah, not too bad. So I'm just shy of 190,000 damage, and Montana goes down to fire from Napoli. Now it's time for me to consider getting back into that cap, I think. Austin's making a run for it. This game is really all over but the shouting. Somebody might finish off that damaged Montana. But Austin and Daring both sitting right here. The only thing outside of that is their CV. And Montana just says, nope. And now it's just the Malta left. And that's the game. So I feel pretty good. It's not often that you get 12 torpedo hits, at least for me, in the gearing. But, 12 torpedo hits with 7 floods. I shot down a couple aircraft, 38 shells on target, 3 detections, 3 ships sunk. Helped secure a cap, and it looks like I'm going to get a chance to secure this one. 2 fires, 1 incapacitation, picked up some awards. A solid game, and it's one that I feel good about. And this was kind of a blowout, but it's not hard to imagine if we just go back like maybe a minute and a half. We got a Montana that's almost dead and now is dead, and a Sherman that was really banged up. If one or both of those had been sunk, maybe those 3 that were left would have been a little bit more effective. Granted, my torpedoes smashed them pretty good when they were crossing through here, but you just never know. This game can take some weird turns, but in this case, this is pretty much game over. It's going to run a little bit forward here, basically until one of these big ships can get guns on the Malta, and that might be it right there. So I'll say thanks very much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.